Hi, I'm JB with Madwire, and I want to talk about our My Click to Calls program and the 3 advantages that it gives you. So let's take a look at that. Number 1, call conversion optimization. Hugely important. And so first of all, what My Click to Calls does is it tracks your calls. So it's able to track the call, what time the call came in. The call is also recorded. We can track down to the keyword which ad drove the call. And so when we're talking about call conversion optimization, we can, with our Click to Call program, what we can do is we can drill down to which keyword on search drove the call. Number 1, and so that allows us to optimize the campaign to drive more calls if that's what you want, and that's what drives more of your sales. We can optimize the ad campaign to drive you more calls when we know which keywords are actually generating the calls. Without My Click to Call tracking, there's no way of knowing that. You could be running all kinds of ads and you're getting phone calls, but you wouldn't know where those calls are coming from unless you specifically had different phone numbers for every single ad. With My Click to Calls, that's not necessary. We can actually track where the call is coming from with one phone number through Google Analytics tracking. And so that's pretty awesome when it comes to optimization. We can even figure out which ad drove the call. So if you're running an ad at the top of Google, a lot of times, especially on mobile, folks won't even go to your website. What they'll do is directly from the ad on the search engine, they will click to call. When that happens, we can immediately identify where the call was coming from, and that allows us to optimize the campaign for better results. It also allows us to identify negative keywords. Maybe there's keywords that you're spending money on when it comes to marketing and you're getting a lot of clicks there, but you're not receiving any phone calls and you're not receiving any online sales or online form submissions. A lot of times you're not receiving online form submissions and online sales, but you are receiving calls. And with Click to Call tracking, we're able to continue marketing to that keyword because it is generating sales. Those are just sales that are coming through the phone. Other times you're receiving calls, but you're not receiving online forms and sales. And other times you're not receiving either. When you're not receiving either, that's a negative keyword. We don't want to be running your ads on keywords where you're not receiving any online activity or phone activity. That's a poor keyword. It's costing you money, but it's not generating sales. So we would want to take that out of your campaign and increase the volume on the keywords driving the most sales. With My Click to Calls, it allows us to see the full picture, and the tracking helps us to improve your overall campaign and your return on investment. So that's the main advantage to it right there. There's also another key huge advantage that not nearly enough businesses are taking advantage of. I know that there's caller ID and there's other types of services you can see the call come in, but not to the extent of the My Click to Call system. What the My Click to Call system does is when you have a missed call or a very short call, you're going to get an email alert, and that email alert will tell you what the phone number was, what they were calling from, how long the call lasted. You can immediately return that call, and so you can recapture those sales. Just like a e-commerce shopping cart has abandoned cart remarketing tools to capture more sales when they miss those opportunities with an e-commerce store, you should be doing the same thing with your phone calls, and the My Click to Call allows you to do that. And so that is hugely important. Also, sometimes maybe you don't have caller ID and you're on the call and their cell phone loses connection, you lose them. You don't have their name, their phone number, or anything at that point. They were a good lead. How are you going to get back in touch with that person? You can't. You have to wait for them to call you. With My Click to Calls, you can, because you can go back and see where that call came from and return the phone call, hopefully capture that sale. When we're looking at a case study here, just recently, one of our clients was missing calls. They were missing a lot of calls, and we were consulting with them about taking advantage of the system and actually returning those phone calls. And so they did. They ended up, out of 10 missed calls, capturing 3 sales that they would have they would not have received otherwise. But they did the return call on 10 of those missed calls, captured 3 sales. Revenue was over $10,000 on those 3 sales that they would have gone with another company had they not received a return phone call. And so that is hugely important when it comes to actually generating as much sales as you can. And a lot of times on mobile, when somebody searches, Many times they'll accidentally click the call button, and when that happens, they immediately hang up. Now, that's a good person to call back, in my opinion, because if they were searching the page anyways, it's a relevant visitor. They were searching for your types of products and service in your business. They landed on the Google page. They're there for a reason. They were looking for that type of service. They accidentally clicked the click to call button because it's easy to do on Google. They immediately hung up. You get the email alert. You can immediately call back and say, hey, I see that you called us real quick and dropped the call. Are you interested in our types of services? Is there something I can help you with? 10 times out of 10, you're going to make that sale and be able to capture that lead when they otherwise may have done nothing or went with one of your competitors. So that's another advantage to the system. And then the last thing is quality control. That's something that's overlooked sometimes. It's hugely important. You don't know how many clients we work with that have call centers. And I can't tell you how many times we've been able to improve their overall sales conversion rate by consulting them about how their call center can improve. Sometimes it's just a little tweak here and there. The call center person doesn't quite know how to answer the phone, or they can't quite consult with the prospect on the phone about the services or products that you offer, and they fumble the sale and they lose it. We're able to hear that type of information coming through the call tracking, pass that along to you so you can refine that call center, or possibly hire somebody to put them in place of capturing your calls to increase your sales. At the end of the day, if you're getting calls but you don't have somebody at the other end to make the sale, then there's no point to it. It's just like if you drive traffic to a really bad website. There's no point driving traffic because nobody is going to buy from you. And so you want to have a good experience on both sides. Our call recording allows us to do that. We can also do call coaching. Maybe you have a sales rep in the office answering the phone, that sort of a thing, and then maybe they're getting kind of squirrely on their pitch or something, and we feel like they're losing some sales. We can pass that along to you so you can refine the overall pitch to your team and hopefully increase the conversion rate of all of your calls. And then call monitoring. You can also listen to the calls. So you can get, when you get the alert in the email, after every call, there'll be a link. You can click it, you can listen to the call. So you yourself can do the call monitoring and lead quality control as well, which is an additional service here, is we can improve the overall lead quality. If you're getting calls, but these aren't relevant leads, they're kind of looking for something that you don't do. We need to know that, and this allows us to do that, and we can optimize those keywords so that the quality of the call and the type of person making the call to you is as high as it can be. That's our system. Thanks.